I'm Robin McLaren.
And I'm Daryl.
And we are the founders of Extra O Marriage.
It is our mission to lower the divorce rate one extraordinary marriage at a time.
And we believe every marriage can be an extraordinary marriage,
including yours. Hi, welcome to our beautiful backyard here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We are so excited that you're here joining us tonight. We're pretty excited about some things that are coming up this next week on extraomarriage.com and some of the things that you're going to be seeing on our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, out there on the interwebs. That sounded like Brendan Bouchard, didn't it? Hey, we're glad you're here. We're pretty excited. We're going to start a series this next week on the power of making a decide. The power of making a decide. And I know that sounds weird, but let's tell them a little story about where that comes from.
There's a story that helps it make sense.
Yeah. So you want to talk about it? You want to share it? Share the story of our 5-year-old as we're driving down the road.
Yeah, years ago, our oldest daughter was about 5 years old, and she was on a road trip with her daddy. They're driving down the road, and it was raining. Windshield wipers are going back and forth, and he had been struggling with a decision, struggling with a situation that he was dealing with. And so he was kind of explaining it to her, and she was a great listener at the time, and she listened for a while, just listened intently to what he was sharing, and she was very empathetic with him.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she just says thoughtfully, "Daddy, you just need to make a decide."
So that's kind of where this is coming from, is from that point forward, we've thought about, the decisions we've made and how we make decisions and the power of making a decide. And at some point you just got to make a decide. Mm-hmm. You just got to say, okay, enough's enough. I've got to make a decide, and then that decision has a ripple effect in your life.
Right.
So what we're going to do this next week is we're going to launch a series of blogs and posts, and the theme next week will be all about making a decide. Because we've discovered some things in our marriage and in marriages in general, that when you make a decision, that it launches you somewhere. It starts a ball rolling. Mm-hmm. So let's talk just a little bit about the power of making a decide. So what is the power of making a decide?
I think it's the decision is the impetus to action, because all action starts with a decision. So that's the beginning point, the jumping off point. And then without action, you didn't really make a decision. At least that's what Tony Robbins says.
Okay, so if my marriage is struggling, and I'm just drifting along, and I'm not making any decisions to do anything intentional, I'm probably not going to be acting on doing something.
Right.
So I think a lot of times people, we get up, we go to work, we go home. We get up, we go to work, we go home. And there's not an intentional decision that I'm going to do something today to strengthen, support, build, grow my marriage. So when people don't make a decision to do something, the marriage drifts.
Right.
It just kind of wanders along, or whatever happens naturally is going to happen, and the natural is not always the best.
Right. The natural is usually drifting apart.
Right.
Because it's the intentionality that brings us together.
Right. So what are some decisions we're going to talk about this next week? And we'll get more into them next week, but what are some decisions that we're challenging people to make this next week in their marriage and for their marriage?
We're going to ask you to make a decision that divorce is not an option.
And that's a decision that we made before we got married. And we'll tell that story a little bit next week in our video next week. But I think that's probably one of the most important decisions. Yeah. We're going to talk about intentional little things.
Yeah.
And it's the little things that sometimes are so profound and powerful in growing and strengthening the marriage. But those little things took a decision that you had to
Right.
decide that I'm
Right.
going to do something nice for my wife today, or I'm going to do something nice for my husband today.
Right. The decision is part of that intentionality. And intentionality is what we call the extra O factor.
Right.
Without that, you're just wandering along,
Right.
taking things as they come.
Right. So, even that. Let's this whole idea of making a decide. In fact, I challenged a friend of mine today as we were driving in the truck. I said, Johnny, what is something you can do intentionally today that would score you points with your wife? And he had to think. I mean, we have to. It's like, I never really thought about it. It's like, what?
Well, that's a good point, I think, because that's the other thing that a decision requires is thought.
Yeah.
That's part of the intentionality of it. You have to stop and think.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we don't like to take the time to do that. We think it's easier to just go along, take things as they come without any thought. We're just reacting to things that way. We're not actually choosing our responses.
Right.
So a decision helps us to be intentional about whatever the activity is, whatever the little thing we might want to do.
Right. So he had to think about it. We thought there for a little while in the truck, and it was like, what is one little thing? Doesn't have to be a big thing.
Right.
One little thing that you can do. And could you imagine, and we've talked a little bit about this, and in marriage is if each partner woke up every day and thought, okay, what's one thing I could do today, intentionally do today for my spouse that would build and strengthen our marriage? The profound impact of that, of doing that consistently over time, that decision to do something daily, intentionally, on purpose, every day, that's the path to extraordinary.
Right. Because as you do that, let's say you're doing some little thing. What's a little thing that you do for me?
It's very intentional, and I always make sure I kiss you goodbye in the morning.
Okay.
And I always tell you I love you.
And I love that.
Yeah.
And I respond positively to that, right?
Yeah. Oh,
So
absolutely.
As you do that, I respond positively, then it's easier for you to do it the next time.
Yeah, because
I-
I like the response.
Right. If I was responding like pushing you away, or why do you have to do that all the time? Why are you always kissing me? That's not how I react. I'm like,
That's not how you react at all.
bring it.
It's like, okay, I'm there.
So, but it's much easier to keep that going in
Yeah.
a positive way. If you're getting a positive reaction,
Yeah.
then you want to do it again. You
Right.
want to keep doing it.
Right.
You want to keep getting that positive reaction. And I want to do something for you because I appreciated the little thing that you did for me.
So what's a little thing you do for me?
Well, it's not really little, but I get up at 5:30 in the morning and fix you breakfast every day, every
Right.
weekday.
Right. And it is not little, and it is a treasure that because, okay, we've been married for 33 years. We do this marriage thing. We've been married for 33 years. We've been married for 33 years. That didn't start. That hasn't been going on for 33 years.
Mm-mm.
When did you start getting up and fixing me breakfast every morning at 5:30?
Within the last year.
About a year ago.
Yeah.
So about a year ago. And it has absolutely changed our marriage. It's something you do for me on purpose, intentionally, and I know that it's sacrifice for you. But that's our special time.
Mm-hmm.
That sets our day.
Right.
It sets our momentum for the day.
Mm-hmm.
That's important to us.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a shift that's taken place that has helped move our marriage towards extraordinary.
Right. For sure.
And it is not easy, but it's something that you do consistently and on purpose.
Mm-hmm. And
I think,
you say it's a sacrifice, and in a way it is, because if I weren't doing it, like today, for example, you went into work early.
right.
So you said, just stay in bed. So I did. Till 7 o'clock. It was fantastic. But generally, I was just going to say that I enjoy doing it.
Yeah, and it's changed in you.
Yeah.
That you have embraced that with joy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of things that, so some ideas of little things that folks can do. So Hector and Donna, great friends of ours in Phoenix, incredible neighbors, some of our best neighbors ever. Hector does something special for Donna every single day and has for years and years and years. And that's to fix her
A latte.
a latte.
Not a cup of coffee, an actual latte.
And she goes to bed thinking about the latte he's going to fix her in the morning.
Yeah.
But that's special.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
And in our post this week, somebody in the Extro family made a comment about her husband leaves a piece of candy, a special piece of candy, by her computer, and it makes her heart do flip-flops. It's not a big thing. And how much effort did that take him? It didn't take him much. What it took was thought.
Right.
What it took was thought and intentionality and something that he knows will light her fire.
Right.
And so he places a piece of candy there, and when she walks to her computer, she sees that piece of candy,
Yeah.
and it lights her up. It's
And
not
why? Why does it light her up? Because she knows he was thinking of her,
Right.
even when he wasn't with her.
right.
He was planning something
Yeah.
for her that was special.
Yeah.
That goes a long ways.
But those are all decisions. And I think in this whole, the power of a decide is people who think ahead, make a decision, I'm going to do something special for my spouse. And that special doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be huge. I mean, we've got these beautiful roses here.
Yes.
So, story. In our dating, when we were growing up, when we were dating, so this is 30 plus years ago, my parents had a beautiful backyard with rose bushes. And I didn't have to steal roses from the neighbor. I would steal them from my mama. But when we were dating, I would go cut a rose from our backyard, and I would take you a rose. It was a little thing, but it was special.
Yeah.
It was something that you knew that I was thinking about you and
Right.
took the time to go get a rose. I think we're so stinking busy. We're so consumed with life and work and busyness. It's like, I just got to get home. I just, I don't, and to where it's not even a thought. We're not stopping to think of what can I do for my relationship? What can I do to improve and strengthen and grow our relationship?
And it doesn't have to cost money.
Uh-uh.
And you don't have to steal either. There are things that
Unless
you
it's
can
from
do.
your mama.
Yeah. There are things that you can do because it is, in this case we're talking about, it really is the thought that
Yeah.
counts. But it's the thought plus the action
Right.
that really counts.
Right.
You can think about it all day long. You can think, oh, I should do that, or I could have done that. But if it's only a thought, then it doesn't really count.
Right. That thought has to lead to a decision, and that decision has to take action. If it doesn't take action, it wasn't really a decision. And so we're going to talk this week about making decisions. And some big decisions, we're going to talk about macro decisions, and we're going to talk about micro decisions, and the power of those decisions. And most people who are watching this, you've made decisions when you got married. You made decisions to make vows, and those vows were decisions and promises, and we said we would be married forever. If we said we'll be married forever, then why is the stinking divorce rate 50+%? We made decisions, but they were these macro decisions. And we're going to talk about the difference between macro decisions and micro decisions. And I think that's going to be profound and powerful and helpful. But I think there's just a lot of people who, they're not thinking.
Yeah.
They're not making decisions. They're not intentional. And that's what we're going to help with this week.
And
I'm
you
pretty
can
excited
start,
about that.
You can start small. Like I said, we talked about little things that you can do. It doesn't have to cost money at all, or it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. When's the last time you wrote a little note to your spouse?
Yeah.
On a Post-it note, on a whatever, piece of paper. on the back of a envelope of a bill that came in the mail if you don't have any paper. You can, it's not going to matter what it's on. What's going to matter is the thought you put into it and the words that you express.
Right. So those notes are so special, and we have a special daughter. Our Kelly is super special, and she makes me a lunch every day for work. And there's days that I open my lunchbox and there's a note. What was the one she wrote about?
Whimsical.
A
whimsical Wednesday.
Daddy, I hope you have a whimsical Wednesday.
Yeah.
And it was just such a special note. It was little. It didn't cost her anything, but man, that lit me up. I opened my lunch and it was like best lunch ever. But it was the note that made that lunch so special, and it was just slipped in there by my daughter.
So back that up a little bit. She made a decision that she wanted to encourage you.
Right.
She wanted to connect with you. She wanted to make your day.
Right.
So she did a little thing that totally made your day.
It made my day.
Yeah.
Made my day. And it helps our relationship. That helps Kelly and my relationship. Mm-hmm. Because that lit me up. I knew that she cared about me and that she was doing something on purpose. Mm-hmm. Thought out, intentional, on purpose. And that was just so cool to me. Yeah. So what happens when I get home? Well, do you think I'm coming through the door angry at Kelly? No, I'm coming through the door with my arms out and my hugs, and it changed things. It changes things. Mm-hmm. And they're not huge, and I think that's some of what we really want to communicate. I think that's probably one of the most important things we want to communicate, is it's not huge.
Right.
It's not huge.
And it's not difficult. It just takes thought.
Yeah.
It's getting dark.
Yeah. So it's getting dark. But
did you see that sunset?
Oh,
we get that every night in Albuquerque.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So anticipate that this next week. We will be posting a video every single week. They will probably at this point come out every Thursday. And we will be every week. You can anticipate a new video. So if you've not been to our YouTube channel yet, you can go to our YouTube channel, Extra O Marriage YouTube, on YouTube. Subscribe. Please watch and like and share and comment and put those videos out. Here's what we know. At this point right now, you may not be struggling in your marriage. You may have a good marriage. You might have a great marriage, and you found our video and it's just it's just okay. It's there, but it didn't. But I will bet you money. I'll bet you money that you know more than one or two people who could use some help in their marriage. Would you do us a favor? Would you like and share and subscribe and put our videos out there for others? There's some people that that need to make a decide. And maybe it would be this week that some of your friends or family would get some help in their marriage that would take them to a whole new level. It might save their marriage, or it could take a good marriage and make it a great marriage. Mm-hmm. And it's just that little thing.
Right.
So we're glad you're here. We're glad you found this video and that you're joining us. Check out our Facebook page, our Instagram, and like and share and comment, and we'll just journey together. We love you. Welcome to the Extra O family.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
Check out our website with resources to help grow your relationship at extraomarriage.com.
That's xtraomarriage.com. Like our Facebook page and share our content with your friends on social media.
Make a decide and set your intention for an extraordinary marriage. Start today.